Alright, got another one for you. This build is going to consist of two 10-inch Skar Audio VVXv2s in a slot ported box, going in a 4-door Dodge Ram truck. Same procedures as always. On this build here, we're using 3/4 inch MDF. We're going to use 1 5/8 coarse wood screws, adjustable sliding clamps, and of course, 100% glue coverage every time. Every piece we join together, that's what we do. But you got your screw placement there, anywhere between 3 to 4 inches. I try to stick around 3, but it's not too critical. That's about all you really need. Gonna assemble the port outside of the box. Just makes it a lot easier. We get to painting, get to certain areas that you can't get to when it's already installed if you start doing it a piece at a time. Get a small round over on the end and the corner just to help with that airflow. All right, I'm lining up, getting the position ready, to outline it with my pencil so I know where to mark it. Get some 3-inch spacers there. That's just scrap pieces just to keep my port true all the way through when I'm marking my line and getting ready to put it in place. That's all that's used for. That'll just be temporary held in place. Mix up a little bit of wood filler for later on. We fill in them holes. Just double checking my 45s, keeping it the port width all the way throughout, 3 inches. That's how you cut the 45s accordingly based on the size of your port. Go ahead and attach that 145 to the inside edge of the port. Go ahead and knock down some of that wood filler that we put on there earlier. All that was just glue and sawdust from the MDF, mixing it on up. Next, we went ahead and masked off everything to prevent overspray, only exposing what we're going to paint, which will be the port area. There I'm showing that's the first coat, and then the light sand with a Scotch-Brite pad just to knock the burrs off the coarse edges that when you spray paint it'll build up on there. A couple coats later, peeled everything off, and that's what's left. And you can still see I pre-drilled all my holes for the port. Don't have to guess on the back side. Get my clamps adjusted, get ready to start to install this, get it in place. That top piece of board with the bow in the middle, just to get some extra pull in the middle where I can't get my clamps. Now I can go ahead and add some 1 1/4 wooden dowel pieces to add some rigidity to the port and the back side and outer walls. Pre-drill one side. Normally I'll do that. Get those pre-painted. Didn't need to paint the one in the back, but I do it anyway. I'm gonna get everything marked up, pre-drilled for locations that I like. Hit it with a little bit of glue on the inside surfaces. A lot of it's gonna rub off, but at least you've got some point of contact. And I'm just showing you how I line them up. Pre-drill, run a nail through one side, and then drill through the rest. No clamp just to hold it secured in place as I'm pressing so it doesn't pull away any type of resistance. Just eliminate that. Get some scrap pieces, get ready for this picture frame brace. Get it all drawn out, roughed out with the jigsaw first. Makes it a lot easier when you get ready to put it on the router. Use the air nailers, secure them into place. Just line them up with the pencil marks that I had drawn out. Hit it with the flush trim bit. And finished it up with a small round over. And this will tie in 4 walls. That's why I like using the picture frame style bracing. It'll dry fit, and I'll draw it in as well. Make sure everything's lined out, so when I get ready to put it back in place, it's good to go. Use some pocket holes on the side that I couldn't get access to with my screw gun. I didn't want them sticking through the port and then have to fill them holes in, so that's why I went with the pocket screws, or pocket holes. Added the glue on the top, and we can seal it on up. Top piece in place. Always pre-draw your location so you don't miss with your screws. Some light sanding. Get my edges back true. I get ready to cut out the subwoofer holes. Just double checking myself, the outer diameter plus the mounting holes. Better be safe than sorry. Get my pivot points pre-drilled. Just a little quick show you the mounting depth over all of these subs. These are older subs, but man, these are solid. They're built like tanks, and they sound amazing. I forgot when they quit making these, but I love how they got all terminals on the same side, like the Alpine Type R's. I like that. Just double checking myself with a dry scrape first, just to make sure if I need to make any adjustments on that router. I do a stationary hold just as I'm cutting around. For that final cut, I got something to hold on to so it doesn't drop off and kick my bit to the side. That's what that was for. Both mounting holes cut and ready. I'll go ahead and screw the flush baffle to the table, and I'll cut these out. The shop fun here. That airflow going. You gotta have fun. If you're not having fun doing this, why are you doing it? You got to have fun. Got to. Yeah, I gotta clean all that up. I ain't worried about it. The lip here, my router is wore out, so I account for this, and then I'll go back through my flush trim bit and clean that on up. It's not gonna be seen. It'll never be seen, but attention to detail is key here in the shop. Small round over in it as well. And this box will be unfinished. Keep that in mind. This box will not be wrapped. Customer specifications. Drawn out, just when I put the subs in, I didn't want the MDF brown showing through in the background. That's why I'm doing this. You can see right there in the middle, I missed with my tape. I had some overlap right there, and I'm just correcting it, put some tape, and I'll go back and hit that up later. We don't hide nothing here. If you see something, call me on it. I'll explain it. I had screwed it into place, extra clamps. Get that finished look. Like I said, when the subwoofer goes in place, that black, it'll black everything out. Just so you don't have anything in the background, it'll just kind of disappear. Ready for the speaker terminal. Get mocked up, cut out, lined up, make sure everything is straight. Pre-drill all my holes. I'll attach it later.
This is what I want you to see. This was the last piece I added.
This is the top piece I put on. I didn't put any glue on. I just want to show you
the edges.
The reason I love clean cuts,
it's not perfect.
Adjustable clamps, and 5/8 course screws.
Clean cuts.
Get a tight, clean bond. No matter how much glue you put on there, if your edges is crooked and warped and waved, it's not going to be a solid bond. That's all I'm showing you right now.
How close that is?
Before I put that little thin layer of glue on.
No matter how much glue you use, if your edges aren't straight,
very critical.
To me, not clamped together tight.
You have to do it. No, you
get
don't.
That bond.
But when you go that extra step, you go that extra mile.
Done up here.
It shows. It shows.
I don't use silicone because I don't need it. Gotta add some glue there.
But that's why I don't use silicone. Silicone hides stuff.
That's why I'm religious.
I use glue because it's still semi-transparent. You can kind of see it. So if the customer takes the subs out, want to look at it, want to inspect, whatever, we're hiding nothing.
Silicone.
Go ahead and double up on this port. Get this trimmed out. And here I'm showing you I forgot to to pre-paint this. That's what I'm showing you here. I got ahead of myself, so I'm about to paint that up later. There's the inside part of the port, masked off and repainted. Only painting what you see from the port opening. That's all you do. Hit that port opening with a small round over, and tape it off, sand it down, add some wood filler as needed. Just come back and forth and kind of work that area. I'm going to go ahead and pre-drill all my mounting holes. A lot of people drill them like this. We kick them in a little bit so you can get more meat on the grab. It ain't much, but it's enough. There's a little subtlety there. And then with that, here I'm showing you that bit. You got to back your screws out because I countersunk all my screws. And if you don't, you'll dip in as you go with that router, and you'll have divots all the way around your box. So back your screws out a little bit flush, and then take that out. Ready to work this port, and don't want to have any overspray. That's why I take the inside, so that spray doesn't travel on the inside of the box and spray it. Missed it, and I didn't want to do that. But I added the tape, put a little small round over on each corners, take that sharpness out. That's what I was showing you earlier. Mix up a little wood filler. I think we're gonna fill in holes now. This was a process. This was a two-part process because as the wood filler dries, it shrinks. So I mixed the first batch up kind of wet, kind of packed it on there, and you can see the dips. You see what I'm talking about as it's drying the next day. So I had to go back through and sand. Some didn't, some did. And then whatever dipped in just felt by hand and went back over it again with a second coat. I'm just showing you the left is sanded, the right's not. Give you that look. With the screw heads being black, it's going to dry and give you that darker look. I kind of like that. They used to make brass looking screws, and I really like those. They don't make those anymore in this particular style of screw that I use. Kind of blended all your holes, but this gives it a good little texture, and that's a good deal for screw placement. If your screw place pretty even all the way around, it looks good.
I sanded it all down. Places where I had dips and pits, or the screws weren't in far enough, and I sanded off the top, and you can see the
Phillips head in there.
Had to come back
That's what
sand
this
it.
is for. I mixed the
Yeah,
first
the
batch
second coat.
loose, real wet, and so it drawed up on me. That's why I got a lot
It's all
more on
about
this
sharing
one.
it. I mean, if you don't
I'm a
understand, see,
previous
it's just spotted. Some areas didn't need it, some
Not a
did.
problem. Put a second.
But you got to share that knowledge,
on it.
folks.
Best way you
You
can
know,
tell,
my
you
channel,
gotta
I mean,
hit it.
that's a big
Look
thing.
from
You
the
got to
side.
share with one another. That's how we keep this going. We don't
Catch
let
that
it die
light.
out. We
See
keep
if we
it
got
pushing.
the bits
Share
in
what
it.
you know.
Hard to tell with
If
this.
you know everything I know, then you don't need to be watching.
Back over it,
But
touching
take
it
what
up.
you can from my channel, add it to your
Hit
arsenal
the needed areas,
keep
and I'll
it
go
pushing.
with the final sand.
to make you a better creator, better
I'll
builder.
be fit.
That's
finished
why I
up.
share what I
You
share.
can see the transition with using the black Phillips screws. It darkens when it
That's
sets
not
up.
ashy knuckles. That's
It
sawdust. Don't be talking about the
protects
knuckles.
a different look. I like that.
Final sanding. Everything's looking good. Peel that tape off the port. Show you that finished look on it. Oh no, I went back again. I still wasn't happy with it. Okay, my bad. Hit it again. A little reveal here. This is actually shipping tape. I think I ran out of masking tape, so I just had some shipping tape with the nylon strands in it. I'll go back and touch up anything, fine tune it with the by hand that I missed. Go ahead and beef up this terminal cup. Get it into place. The thing I like about these terminal cups, they come with gaskets. So if you don't have fabric, you put your gasket on there where it goes up against that plastic, against a flat wood surface, it'll seal it up. But when I'm using fabric, I don't use the gasket, so I just save them. Went ahead and started double checking the coils on these subs. I always do that because you never know what you'll find. And I'll show you on this one that one of the coils was bad on his subs. He didn't know exactly what was going on, but his ohm load changed. So we're trying to do right there, dual 4. Wire them up together, get that 1 ohm load. But we couldn't do it because one of his coils was messed up. Here I am showing you. Always recommend having 2 multimeters. They can be cheap, but have 2 because one can give you a false reading. I've had that happen before. That's why you see that second one there for it. And I'm checking continuity. Listen for that buzz and listen for that bell. Make sure them coils are coming back to each other, connected. There's no break in it. And that last one, that's where his problem was. You can see it right there. It stays open. So that was the bad coil. So we're going to have to change our wire configuration. We're only going to use a coil off each side. We're going to wire it down to 2 ohm. There's that gasket I was talking about. Don't panic. I've done this before. Do your research. You're not going to have any problems with it. Just running off 2 coils. Let's do that all the time. And doing that 4 coil helps with your wiring. But here, we're going to run 2. Do a little heat shrink on them, the bad ones, just kind of seal them off in case somebody comes in later and tries to use it. Like, nope, these coils are bad. This is all preventative. Just to help the next person, help the customer realize these are the coils that are bad. So do not use them. Go ahead and start making my connections. Just showing you, a lot of times you'll have that speaker wire sticking out of the back. Get your little flathead screwdriver and push it down. Get it off that basket. Double checking my ohm load, which are not permanently in there. I've got to take them back out because I've got to fix this problem. This is how he had his old box mounted. Don't laugh. Some of y'all got ratchet straps on y'all box, so we're going to fix him. We're going to get him right. That's his amp. He put everything in, already had it wired up and playing. All we're doing is building the box and then getting the box mounted to his truck. So I'm going to go ahead and make a subfloor out of it using 3/4 inch MDF. Get it all traced out with the contour of the bottom of the seat. Roughed it on out. Start removing the protective carpeting to see what was under it, what I can bolt to, what my options were. So I found my locations. I'm gonna drill right into it. Use that Forstner bit, because I'm gonna use a self tapper plus a washer. I'll pull it down flat so it's still flush across the top. Only gonna paint the outer edges and a little bit on the inside, only what'll be seen. Save you time and money. Use a screw or a nail to line up my holes when I start putting these in. Just get it solid to the frame of the truck. So when you mount the box to the subfloor, everything is solid. Everything's just one. Run them in by hand or with the bit so far, and then tighten them up by hand. I'm a firm believer in that, so you don't
got them all in
overstrip.
there.
screws, self-tapper. All bolted down.
And for all you thinking I got them long screws sticking out the bottom, nah. We checked for this previously. Attention to detail, I'm telling you. It goes a long way. Somebody get to come looking at your stuff, critiquing it. A lot of this stuff, this extra stuff you do will never be seen. Nowhere. But it's there, it's all structurally sound, and it helps with the end product. Now we can go ahead and start wiring it up. Use some of that SoundCube 12 gauge wire. Some black loom kind of faded on out. Again, you won't see it, but it just keeps it clean. Everything loomed up, wires ran around the back side before I can put the box in, because once I get the box in here, I can't get it. I can't get to nothing. And I've seen out the corner of my eye, I seen some tan I missed with my paint. You see that right there. And I noticed a piece on the other side as well later. I went ahead and masked everything off and just lightly touched it up. Most people wouldn't have seen it, but I did, so go ahead and take care of that right there. See that little lip right there sticking out? Did the same thing. Just kind of want that subfloor just to disappear. You don't want it to be seen, don't want it to stick out, don't want it to catch your eye. Just that little bitty strip. But it was enough. And I got the box in there, and I drilled through the bottom of the box to the subfloor. 1 5/8 coarse wood screws, no glue. Because if something happens, you do want them to be able to remove it without tearing anything up. Go ahead and start wiring everything up. Remember, only using 2 coils. Run them in by your drill, and then tighten them up by hand, just so you don't strip anything out. Finished look, and that 12 gauge SoundCube was on the outside, and then I used 12 gauge as well, OFC on the inside. I think I ran out of the SoundCube, that's why I switched. And there it is, mounted in place, right behind the driver's seat. The box he had, he said, was a little small, under spec for those subs, so he wanted something bigger based on the manufacturer's recommendation, so that's what we went with. I will try to get a customer what he wants, or she. I don't have a lot of video of this. You got to go to Instagram to hear it. Too many copyright issues on here. I'm working with a guy to try to get me some music, but just try to show you they are moving. These rascals was beating on that SoundCube or that Skar 1200.1 amp. I appreciate you for watching. As always, come back and see us. We got more coming. We got more builds coming, stacking up. I appreciate all the support and love.